is it that religious people tend to be happier? So I was really intrigued by the documentary Happiness Is. It discussed quite a bit about religion. In my research, I found a lot of articles and researches from a few different websites. I found some surveys on pewresearch.org and a few other websites. This morning I'm going to talk to you about the effects religion has on people's happiness. This topic is not to convince you to believe in a religion, but it's just to inform you about 3 different aspects of religion that cause people to be happier. So, thus saying, the 3 effects are support from a church community, daily rituals, and faith. So, number 1, I'm going to explain how support from a church community can make people happy. In a documentary called This Emotional Life, Daniel Gilbert interviews Dr. Diener, and he asks, why does religion seem to make people happier? And Dr. Diener says, religion often gives people social support and contact. People meet other like-minded people at church, and in many instances can count on those folks when they need help. End quote. So many people who belong to a church, they meet lifelong friends and people who have the same intent and purpose as they do. Also, a lot of church groups do many activities together, whether it be a volunteer project or just a fun activity. It can strengthen bonds between church members and ultimately create a support group. Another thing is that in most churches, they sing together during a service. And when people sing together in harmony, it creates unity. If any of you have ever sang together with a group of people, whether it was in a church or not, you can feel that sense of unity and support. Take, for example, singing the national anthem, which I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have done. Think about how it makes you feel when a big group of people are singing together. It forms a combination of like-minded people coming together to create uniformity. So the community that comes with a church can bring happiness to people, giving them someone to turn to who can help. So next, I'm going to explain how daily rituals can have a big impact on religious people. And one of the Pew studies that I found is said that 58% of Americans pray every day. Many religious people believe that when they pray, they're talking to God and communicating with Him through prayer. And they use their time to pray and to ask God for help in their life, for guidance or blessings, etc. They thank Him and they talk to Him about the struggles and the trials they are facing. Many people believe that God is the only one that knows what they are going through, so when they pray to Him, He understands, and although He can't necessarily respond, many people feel in their hearts satisfied and comforted when they pray. It can make them happy to have someone to turn to who's always there to listen. So furthermore, a lot of religious people meditate daily to relax and take time out of their day to think. In one of the articles I found, Brother Chai Singh, who's a Buddha, describes meditation practice, and he says, one of the first aspects of meditation that we usually think of is the aspect of focus. And when you are fully focused or concentrated, it can lead to feelings of bliss many times. He goes on to share a story about a student he once had, and he says, she came to Sangha, which is a community of Buddhist monks, and she went every week for 3 months, but she kept saying, I'm not getting any benefit from this meditation, and I don't think I'm getting this. I'm not feeling any bliss. Well, one day she was driving on the highway, and a car suddenly cut her off, and instantly her first thought was to slow down and let them pass because maybe they had an emergency or something. And then she caught herself and she said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. Because her normal reaction her entire life would be to speed up, cut them back off, and give them a hand signal. And she laughed and she said, the meditation is working. So this is an example of how meditation has worked and how it affected this girl's life and her happiness. There are a lot of other daily rituals that religious people practice, but the 2 that I discussed, praying and meditating, can ultimately affect someone's happiness. Lastly, number 3, I'm going to discuss how faith can bring happiness to religious people's lives. Religious people have faith in many things. For instance, a lot of people, religious people have faith in an afterlife. In one of the studies I found, it stated that 74% of Americans believe in life after death. Dr. Diener says, quote, these religions solve the terror associated with death by promising a better life after death, end quote. Life after death can give people something to look forward to. It shows that life is not the end, and although many believe that the decisions they make during their life are important, it's not the end when they die. This belief of an afterlife can give people hope, and it can make them happy once they die, it's not fully over. Also, faith can help people deal with stress in their lives. It helps them realize that although they're going through a tough time, that they will eventually get through it and overcome the hard times. A lot of religious people believe that faith makes them stronger, and the trials that they go through make them stronger. And they believe that they learn from their mistakes, and then they make them a better person than they were before. In another Pew study, I found a story about John McCain. When John McCain was 31 years old, he was a Navy lieutenant commander in the Vietnam War. He was severely injured and captured and tortured by North Vietnamese forces. He often refers to this experience as a time that reinforced his faith in God, renewing his sense of purpose. And later in a video, McCain says, "My faith has been my salvation. I went through a very rough experience in my life many years ago, and the only reason why I'm here today is because of the faith that I had in a greater being who sustained me at times when I was under most difficult stress. My faith has been my anchor and my guide, and I am proud and unashamed to tell people that. The only reason why I'm here today is because I believe that a higher being has a mission for me in my life, a reason for me to be here." End quote. So a lot of people believe that faith has a huge impact on their lives every day. Faith is what people believe gets them through their hard trials. Faith is the keystone to happiness for many religious people. So in conclusion, support, daily rituals, and faith can bring happiness to millions of religious people. I hope I was able to educate you about the many effects religion has on happiness. I want you all to cherish your happiness whether you believe in a religion or not. Audrey Hepburn once said, "The most important thing is to enjoy your life, to be happy. It's all that matters."